So you have a character that you want to draw different stages of their life, but you aren't quite sticking the landing, right? I had that problem too, until I discovered these very few rules that allowed me to become pretty good at drawing babies and pretty good at drawing old people too, especially considering that the way I figured out that one was pretty uncommon. So that's what you're going to get on this video: babies, teens, adults, and old people. So let's start with the babies. So when talking about how to draw babies to kids to adults, we need to talk about proportions. The most important changes are 3, and I'm about to show them to you. So let's start with the proportions of an adult face. If you don't already know this, and I'm pretty sure that you already know this, but the adult head is generally divided in thirds. 2/3 for the ball and 1 for the jaw. The ball has a line going through its middle, and this is where you're going to place the eyes. I always recommend that you place the nose before you place the eyes. I have a video about how that solves drawing eyes on every angle, and I think that you should check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Remember that the ears have the same length as the distance between the eyebrows and the nose. At the ears, and that's it, you have an adult face. So what about the baby head? Well, the baby head is nothing like what I just said. It is not divided in thirds, it's divided in quarters. 3/4 for the ball and 1/4 for the jaw and cheeks. I don't think I need to tell you that the baby's jaws are rounder than an adult jaw. But remember, rounder jaw and also rounder cheeks. Now, if you remember, I promised you 3 big changes, and this is one: the proportion between the jaw and the ball. So, where's the second change? In the eyes, of course, but not so much their size, but where they are placed. And if you're thinking about going into the comments and telling me how the eyes of a person are the same size since we are born, don't do it, because it is not true. But the human eyes reach the final size when we are around 2 years old, so it's not that far off. So as you remember, in the adult face, you placed the eyes in the middle of the ball. But you can't do that here unless you're trying to draw, well, this monstrosity. So you're going to place them almost at the bottom of the ball. Remember that babies have epicantral folds like Eastern Asian eyes have? So if your style allows for that type of change, try to implement it, because your baby face will look a lot better. Now, cute little nose, cute little mouth. Remember not to make the baby's mouth too wide, since the baby's cheeks are taking over almost all of the face. So that was change number 2. What about the third change? Well, the ears. Baby's ears don't obey the same proportions, so remember to make the ears huge. If you need an extra tip for your baby face, here's one more. The hair needs to start higher, like in the first quarter of the head. And if you like that tip, give this video a like and subscribe for more tutorials. So, we have a baby and we have an adult. What about everything else in the middle? Well, for everything between the baby and the adult, you're going to change the proportion of the faces depending on how close your character ages is to the baby or the adult. So slowly, as they age, their eyes will move closer to the middle of the ball, and the jaw will start getting larger and squarer. The ears, of course, will also start getting closer to the final adult measurement. And these are the 3 rules for changing a character's age. Remember, jaw proportions, eye placement, and ear size. So now that we are back at the adult, we're going to move towards the old people. And when I think about getting old, I really hope that I have all the money that I need to have a comfortable life. And thankfully, today's sponsor, Printify, is here to help you and me make money from our art. How? Well, by letting you put your art on basically anything. You can create a free account and choose between their more than 1,000 products, including posters, hoodies, mags, blankets, and magnets. They also offer some of the best prices in the market. For example, they have here multiple sweatshirts, and they are under $15, and people are selling these on Etsy for $30. All you have to do is just choose a product from the catalog and put your design on it. Once you made a design that you love, you can connect your Printify store with sales platforms like Amazon, Etsy, Shopify, and TikTok Shop, which I'm still amazed that it is a thing. When you get an order, Printify will do all the hard work and ship the product to your customer, and all you have to do is just sit back and collect the difference. Do you want to start right now? Well, all you have to do is sign up using the link on the description. Thank you, Printify. So now that we are done growing up, let's start focusing on the decay. But old people is both the most fun and the hardest. And in order to teach you how to do this, I have to ask you, do you know what facial paralysis is? It is a neurological problem where half of your face doesn't move anymore, so all of the muscles on your face start losing tone and they start falling down. What does it have to do with drawing old people? Well, that's exactly what happened to your facial muscles as you age. They lose tone and they start to fall. I mean, you can still move them though. So if we look at some facial paralysis examples, we can have a good view of how your face muscles fall as they age. It almost feels like a before and after photo. What you need to ask yourself is sort of like, what would my character's face look like if their skin started to melt? I know that it sounds a little bit crazy, but it is true. I mean, everything else gets saggy, and so does your face. But if we were to point the most important parts of a face that get affected by gravity, I would choose both cheeks and brows. If we were to really exaggerate this, our skin would hang like this, and we would end up looking like basset hounds. But now that all of that skin is hanging from our cheeks and brows, cheekbones become more pronounced. And in some cases, so does the eye socket. Where else is the face affected by gravity and age? Well, the lips get thinner and lower, and so do the eyelids. Both of them actually. Now, careful, because here's a mistake that other tutorials might tell you that is true, but that is just simply not the case. They might tell you that when you're drawing old people, you have to emphasize the chin. But that is not what you are doing. The chin remains the same. It's the cheeks that now are hanging that are making this chin prominent. But you don't have to touch the chin at all. And here's one final rule that we have to apply when making people look old. And now that I think about it, you've been doing it all along since the beginning of this video. Did you know that your ears and your nose never stop growing? They don't. So when drawing old people, try to make their ears and their nose a lot bigger. In fact, you can add a little bit more age by having the ear just hang a little bit more. After all, as I said before, everything falls. Everything. So to summarize the rules for drawing old people: bigger nose, bigger ear, cheeks and frown fall down, and maybe everything else as well. So if you like this lesson, let me know in the comments, and if you have any ideas for other things that you want me to help you learn, also let me know in the comments. I value your input a lot more than I might show. And if you so happen that you want to draw babies or old people from low angles, I have one video that will solve any of these problems for you, and you can watch it right here.